So, Link's a boy again. Well, that's great. You know what's not great? Coming up with a completely stupid excuse why. Another year, another E3 down the proverbial drain. Once again, we have found ourselves completing the cycle of hype presented to us on a silver platter by the ESA and the associated publishers. And no doubt we'll be picking over every single detail drip-fed off that platter. Especially since there was a lot of that new Zelda game. Yeah, a lot of Zelda. Anyway, one of the more fascinating things this cycle was the lack of any large presentation. Not just from Nintendo, who opted to not even have a Nintendo Direct for any announcements, but a lack of any major presence from companies like Activision and EA, who decided to have their own event down the street right before the official start of the event. Many players and pundits together wondered if this was the beginning of the end for E3 as we know it. That might come as a shock, except it's happened plenty of times before. There was the hot takes that came out when Nintendo first decided not to have a press conference at E3 anymore, like they never had their own convention during E3 before or anything like that. And it happened when the ESA had a showdown with the city of LA over the use of the convention center that E3 is held in. Here's the funny thing that happens though. Once the event occurs, these conversations end. The reasons why are pretty obvious, I suppose. After all, once there's something new to talk about in gaming, anything we were talking about a week ago is completely forgotten immediately, let alone during E3. It can even be argued that the fact that the event happened at all means that it's not dying anytime soon. And that's fair, I suppose. But because I want to make content different than everybody else online regarding this, I'm going to go back to this conversation. Is E3 still relevant? And should it be? The important thing to keep in mind when even thinking about E3 is the real purpose of the event. There's a reason tickets for E3 aren't open for sale to everyone. It's not really for the general audience. Instead, E3 is very much a marketing expo. It's for the business folks and for the press. Except that's not how E3 presents itself anymore, is it? Like pretty much everything else gaming related, with the ubiquity of the internet, E3 evolved from a mystical thing that was read about in Electronic Gaming Monthly to something that anyone can observe. And it's obvious that the press conferences have been retooled to that setup. As much as these pressers are talking to the press, the presenters are talking to the camera, to the audience through the screen. Those of us at home are very much considered a part of the experience. That's why over the past several years, including this year, we get hit with more and more buzzwords and pre-order bonuses. A huge part of why so many of these events get memed is a result of how hard these try to suck up to Joe Gamer and make sure they get his hard-earned $5 for their cinematic footage. That's before you even realize that smaller publishers like Devolver Digital don't even participate. And indie game makers? Well, they usually have to blow massive amounts of their budget to even get a demo on the floor, or sign themselves over to one of the bigwigs to be a part of the 45-second montage used to make the libraries of these companies look a bit more vast. This is why it's not surprising to see the cynicism crop up when it comes time for E3. It's not hard to mock and tease companies and act like nothing can faze us anymore. I'll own it. I get that way, just look at my Twitter. It's not shocking to see journalists almost want to see the whole mess die out either. How can it be? It's the most blatant, sold-out, pandering, and ridiculous example of how corporately dominated and cash-driven the gaming industry is, and has been since the dawn of gaming, really. The loss of E3 would even benefit the industry. Instead of spending thousands of dollars on travel, AV equipment, speakers, floor space, more travel, endorsements, freaking orchestras, and absolutely totally not fake real player reactions.
Hi everybody! Oh, hello! Here we are. Stay back, ye foul beasts!
Why not just do it in an online reveal in your office? Make a quick YouTube video or put it on a Twitch stream. I mean, it can't be any more cringy than this, right?
Nom 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 nom.
So, there you have it. E3 is kind of a mess. Companies don't gain much from it. The city doesn't gain much from it. We're lied to 90% of the time, and it just feels like one big bloated mess. Maybe it's time the ESA just can the entire thing, yeah? Well, except for this.
I am hungry.
And this. And this. And this. Oh, and this. And most definitely this. You see, there's a real reason that E3 hasn't really gone away. Against all odds, gamers, both in home and in the presentation room, have managed to turn this mess into something else entirely. We've come together to look out on the, pun intended this year, horizon of what this art form has to offer us. And even though it has its downsides, hype does come from a place of hope. We want games to be good. We want them to be fun. And we want to be excited for them. It's very hard not to get caught up in the moment. I also think it was especially poignant this year too, with the show starting immediately following a weekend of death and fear, including at least one who would be right alongside the rest of us on the hype train. Not only did we rightfully see rainbow ribbons and kind words, we saw glimmers of hope. Something to at least help some of us get up and move forward. Yeah, everything kinda sucks in the real world, like, a lot. But ReCore looks pretty good. Kojima's making another game, that's always fun. Resident Evil's going back to being a horror game, great! Bloodstained Ritual of the Night and We Happy Few are shaping up to be crowdfunding home runs, that's awesome! The Last Guardian is finally coming out. Final Fantasy 15 is finally coming out. The Legend of Zelda looks like it might come out. And you know what? I needed some good news this week. And I'll need it again next week. And probably the week after that too. That's the power that games give us. And the fact that there's more waiting for me on the other side of a bad week can be enough sometimes. E3 is far from perfect, but it's not going anywhere. It might change, it might move locations, it might evolve to include more of us regular people, but it's become very much a part of the gaming experience that, even for a moment, gives us a chance to remember why we all care about this in the first place. Yeah. Video games are pretty cool. Worst case scenario, there's always Devolver's Party across the street.
Nom 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 nom.